Turn this off. This is just a short video to show this particular interest of mine when it comes to invisibility and holodecks. The first thing you should know is that it requires a light strand for invisibility, at least, and holodecks maybe. It requires a light strand that can take light, a 3D pixel, single 3D. This is a single 3D pixel light bundles, strands, where it would take light in, bring it through, and come back out. But for a single light strand, it only does this straight across from itself. No matter how you swivel it, whichever way, this doesn't line up with the straight where it would appear to come out at. And that's why these X's are here. This wouldn't line up to the middle. It would line up, come out here and here, two different places. So a single light strand, light bundle, 3D light bundle, where light can come in three-dimensionally. This is just a cross section, by the way, where light can come in three-dimensionally and come back out three-dimensionally. It doesn't do that with a single bundle, except for in one place, one position, straight through. But if you took those same strands, same bundles, I keep on saying strands, they're bundles of strands, and if you created a light interface system solution to these other angles that wouldn't previously go through of the 3D pixel light bundles, then they all do check out. A single light bundle, 3D light bundle would take light in and go through a thing that I call a light interface, which is just the same shape as the object that you want to make invisible, but concentrated to allow something to exist in between the boundary, the outer boundary, and the inner boundary. Then it would check out for all different angles going in. It would find its way back out, straight across. This is a no-brainer. And go up, go through, come back in and come back out. Spherical shape, or its cross-section circular equivalent, are the highest symmetrical forms of invisibility because light travels through it at regular intervals. Any other shape, like a square or a cube, which is the square's three-dimensional equivalent, light wouldn't travel through it at precise, regularly spaced intervals being the spacings of the picture elements, the 3D picture elements, the apertures for each 3D picture element, shell or whatever. And the best you can do is a fall where it may sort of philosophy on anything other than a perfect sphere in our three-dimensional world, is to let it fall where it may. You pack it with a bunch of bundles and light receivers and light emitters, and you just hope that one of them lines up to another receiver, from an emitter to a receiver inside the light interface. So that's what I do. I call it a follow where it may philosophy for invisibility. But I think it's interesting, and I call this a one-to-one correspondence. Boom, one-to-one correspondence, because instead of having lines of sight hooked up individually, which is almost impossible, it created an intricate, almost impossible, probably an impossible web, especially if you had to change the different location to each other in the parts of a movable, invisible object like an invisibility suit, for them to be hardwired would just be impossible. You'd have to rewire it for each movement that the parts made between themselves, like the arms and legs to the torso. But with the light interface, and this is not a movable interface, it's just a square cross-section. But if it was a movable interface with arms and legs, it would be a puppet interface that would change in relation to itself. That's why I call it dual adaptive. It's adaptive to the outside environment, whatever that is, and also adaptive to its puppet light interface. But I just think it's just really interesting that with a single bundle, it's only good in one single line of sight. But with a system of bundles, 3D pixel bundles, what I call a system of light interface system, you have a one-to-one correspondence between the outside pixel and the inside pixel, which, by the way, would be decreased in size according to the size of the interface inside the boundary of the object. And this is a one-to-one correspondence again. And I think it's just interesting. It's just interesting to me that a single light bundle only has one place where it's faithful to its incoming and outgoing line